Hey guys. Hi. Be like, hey my future doctors. We are all black kids, white coats. I'm still in Atlanta, about to leave in like an hour.
No.
Anyway, we all met like this weekend. We been like chilling and all that stuff, and we thought we should do a video on, I guess it's like girls talk kind of thing, like what it's like to be a female, a black female in med school. So we're gonna talk about that. So yeah, look out for it.
Yep. Yeah. So my name is Anjelica Salisbury. I'm a med school in the South. Woo woo. And I'm thinking about taking a year off to do research.
Yeah. So my name is Christina. We met in the last video. I go to medical school in the Northeast region. And I'm also thinking about taking a year off to do research in medical school. I'm not sure exactly what I want to do yet, but yeah.
Nice. Yeah, and y'all know me already. But I'm in school in the Midwest area, and I'm also taking a year off actually, eventually, to do my joint degree. Okay, so what do you want to talk about next?
I think that it's hard to find a balance in all things, and I've heard that there's no such thing as a work-life balance. However, I think it's important that we talk about how we take care of ourselves, like what we like to do for fun. Yeah. Because I feel like a lot of times we get together and we just talk about what you're doing, how you're getting to the next phase in your career, and we rarely take the time to say, what do you like to do for fun? Are you working out? Are you eating healthy? Are you taking care of yourself mentally and spiritually? And I know that's easier said than done, but I think it's a good conversation that we don't find the time to have and get to know people on that kind of level, and instead we're just kind of like, did you get the answers for this, or like, can you help me understand this question?
Yeah.
But that kind of goes into like, okay, do you think it's easy to make friends in med school? As it might not be the whole black female thing, of course it's like personality and all that stuff, right? But like, what are your experiences with like relationships in med school?
Yeah, so I definitely think it's harder to make friends as a person of color in general in med school, and I don't think it's necessarily because people don't want to be friends with you or anything like that. I think it's just everyone's there to kind of for different reasons, and some people are there not to socialize at all, and so I don't really take it personal or anything like that. And then a lot of people not been exposed to different cultures as you might think they would be, but they're not, or they're just not that interested in learning about other cultures. And then some people might even perceive you as not wanting to talk to them, when you're just quiet or focused. So I think there could be a lot of miscommunications and why that is, but I definitely think that there's something there that it's a little different. To make friends.
I think it's like a high stress environment, so like little things that probably wouldn't bother you in like regular situations like bother you in medical school, because it's like my time is so limited, and like when you do things like not follow through on appointments, you know, that we make for each other as friends, it kind of is just like, okay, well, like we're both busy, and like I don't feel like you're doing what you need to do to respect my time, and also we're like adults, so it's not like in college where it's like you come in and you're finding yourself and like you're like open to like creating these new relationships. Like medical school is busy. A lot of these people are adults and they're just like, listen, I already have like my, you know, family and friends set up from way back. Like I don't really need to like engage in like things that are going to cause me additional stress. So you're coming in from like a more professional standpoint where it's like, okay, I have things already set up for me, and like, you know, like you said the other time, like yesterday or something like that, it's like having friends is an added benefit.
It is.
Yeah, so it's like that can make it difficult though, especially if like it's hard.
Yeah, because it's like people always say, I mean, at least from what I've heard in my experience from doctors, that like med school's a time to meet friends, and like, you know, these are your red life. Dang. But like, it can also be different, like, right? These are our like perspectives, so it's different for everybody. Like people meet people and either the ride or die friends. So I'm still a second year, so maybe it might change by the time I come out. So like, okay, she's a third year, so like she's kind of like, you know, you're almost done.
So this is what happens in third year, at least at our school, but I'm sure it's other schools too. So you're all in class together for 2 years in a one room. So now we're going to divide you up into 50 different tracks. Everyone's in different clerkships at different times, and so you really don't see anyone, and there's some people that you're never going to see again until graduation day. So
Okay, well, I thought.
But I think it's different because like when I hear about it in my school, like you become or
but
you
do
make friends
become better
with
friends
people that
with the people that you are with.
Yeah, that you're the people that you're with, and that you would have never thought that you'd be friends with.
Right.
So that's not to say I'm not trying to say that
true.
you don't make like close friends, because I've made like 2 good friends or 3 good friends that like I'm sure I will be friends with after medical school. But I mean, a lot of people that I met, they're acquaintances, and I'm sure if I meet them at a conference or somewhere, like I could be like, oh hey, like you know, like we used to go to school together. But that's not to say that you won't make relationships.
Right.
That's kind of like undergrad too. I kind of see it that way.
Yeah, that's true.
Like you walk away. I mean, depending on who you are. I'm kind of like an introvert, but like you walk away with like the few people you know that are like your good friends. But then you later on, like now, like in my med school, there are a lot of people from my undergrad. I'm like, oh hey, I remember you went to like my undergrad, and I was like, and then from there we can actually be friends because it's like, oh, now we're in med school together.
Right.
So that's kind of cool. That has actually happened before.
Yeah.
But like just like everyone else is kind of like acquaintances, and maybe if you see them later on, you'll be like, hey, and that's your network. It really is your network.
Right.
Yeah,
it is.
If you're comfortable with saying, hey, we went to the same undergrad.
Right.
Yeah. But wait, let's see. How many students are at your school, and how many people are like colored?
So we're roughly looking at like 15 or so students, and I think like 15. So if I was on
how
the
many?
160. So if we put everything in context, so if it's like that few out of 160, you're thinking like, okay, that's not a lot, and it's not. And then if you just look at the community of 15 people and you're like, okay, I'm surrounded with 15 other people, that sounds like a lot. Like if you put that out of the context of medical school, then if you're just all in a room, that sounds like a lot. But then you also have to put into context that everyone in that room has different expectations about what they're trying to do in medical school. Not everyone wants to be a community. And I think that's another thing that was kind of shocking to me, is that it was like, okay, there's so few of us, let's all be a community, but like there are different personalities and people have different things that they want to get out of med school, and so that just didn't happen. And I think we were a community at first because it was kind of like everyone's getting to know each other, but I can definitely say now that there's pretty much not like as strong of a community, if one now.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. If we're like 15 to 20 out of maybe almost 200, so it's still the same number.
Yeah.
Still the same number, but like, yeah, first year it felt like, well, actually, it felt like our year was a little different because like all the years above us, like they felt a lot tighter as a black community or colored community, and ours wasn't like that. And I just feel like it's also just gotten worse with being the second year and like everyone's on their own. So I don't know, it's always interesting to think about.
I agree. I think for us, it's out of like 160 or so, it's about 15 to 20. And I echo everybody else said. Like sometimes it's like some of those people are coming in with families and they're not going to be hanging out with us, or they're not going to be doing other things.
And that's
like,
okay.
Yeah, and that's fine. Or like, you know, like it's. And second year, you become so busy, and like you realize how different medical school is from undergrad. Like you're not coming in with that same like, I'm here to like live my best life.
Right.
And it's like I'm like here to like
school.
I'm here professional school. So it's like you get over that at some point because it's just like, okay, like we're here for like a common goal, and as long as we're not trying to deck each other, okay,
right, exactly.
like we're not trying to like bring each other down, that it's not problematic.
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
You just gotta keep to yourself.
True.
Right.
But it is nice though to have like my 2 closest friends in med school happen to be other girls of color. Shout out Hannah. And also shout out Pame. I see you. But those are my girls, and I think like it's really nice though sometimes to have someone that looks like you, who understands some things on a cultural level that you're going through in med school, such as you have anatomy practical on the day and you have a test on the day. You can't do your twist out, so your hair looks crazy. And you're also supposed to like work out and eat right and all these things, and your hair is supposed to look nice all the time, which is like a full-on hour-long process. Like unless
you go wash and go.
Exactly. And which is an art, and you have to work yourself to wash and go, because I'm not there yet, and if I wash and go, it's a no-go.
Yes.
So it's a no.
So we stay home today.
I'm saying exactly. Shout out to my podcasters. But yeah, so I think it's nice though to have that community in at least in someone, because there are just some things that you just don't understand unless it's a cultural difference. So I really appreciate my friendships with them as who they are and the incredible women that they are, as well as the community that we have when we can sit and talk about those things such as hair, and we can talk about men, we can talk about cultural things, we can talk about responsibilities to our families, which I also think is a cultural thing, and I don't necessarily think it's an American concept. I think it's a culture, like within American cultures, what culture that you belong to. Family is not the same as like in other countries. I think that family might be more like concept that's more widespread in the importance of family, but I think in America it's a little bit different. So like that responsibility to your family, like you can't just do things because you want to follow your passion. You have people who are depending on you. Those kinds of things that come with the culture. So I think it's nice to have friends like that.
I agree. I would say I have those friends too, since we're doing shout outs. Kiwana, Osa, Nia.
I see you. I see you.
Like we have like a WhatsApp group. I mean, like in medical school there's a lot of things going on. Like it's not just I just have to keep my head in a book. Like they require things of you. Which we think is annoying right now, but I guess it'll help out later. But those little assignments and things like that, we have like a group where like we were like, don't forget to do this, or like don't forget to do this.
That's key.
That's like those small things, because like I'm a big concept person. Like if you throw these little deadlines at me and you're not like on top of me, like I'm probably not gonna do it.
That's key.
So like it's crazy because it's like different people pay attention to different things. So it's like they would like be paying attention to this stuff, and that they would be talking about, you remember this session that we have to go through to next week? That's required.
Wait, case in point, we all had to go to a ceremony that I thought started at 6:30. So yesterday after the lunch, I'm like, okay, like we don't have to be there to 6:30. Newsflash, we had to be there at
5:30.
Group text. So things like that, like you need some other people who are looking out for you, because you can't do it by yourself. You just can't.
Very difficult to do it by yourself. That is I agree with all of those like assignments when we do, and I'm like, this is different. Like, what is that?
100%, all the time.
Definitely agree with that. Oh man.
Also resources. Like I think it's important to have friends for resources too. Different schools have different resources. So just having a network where you can get different things from different people is key.
That's true.
And you need friends for that too.
Yeah, because I have friends who like to talk to the professor and go, and like if they don't understand something, they like go and they like get the answer from the source. And I'm not that type of person, but they disseminate that information.
I used to be that person last year.
I'm not about to go sit at no professor.
Last year it was definitely, because I mean that was my tip to everybody. That was my tip to a lot of people, like going to the professor if you feel comfortable with it. But even if you don't feel comfortable with it, you gotta get comfortable with it, because first off, you're paying too much in either loans or scholarships or whatever you're doing to like not like be able to like ask a question and like have it be answered. That's one thing.
Have the real answer. From the source.
Have the test answer.
So
from the person who wrote the test.
So I was that person last year, and like I definitely understand that, right? Like disseminating that information, but then there are people like that who won't disseminate that information.
So
you
need that group text.
You gotta, who are looking out for
who have your best interest at heart. Can we talk about one thing though? So I read this article a long time ago, and I shared it with one of my besties, Kwame, shout out again. And I think that what the article said is about friendship, and one thing is like friendships are not measured by the people who are there who when things go bad. Because I feel like we have like an innate feeling that I'm having a bad day. I don't really have to be your best friend to want to make you feel better, especially like in medicine and things like that. But real friendships are defined for the people who are happy for you when good things happen.
It's so true.
And I always thought of friendship as the former. And so I think like now I'm starting to realize more I get into professional arenas that it's really important to surround yourself with people who are happy for you when good things happen. And I think that's something that I realized in med school too. I can say that I haven't met anyone that I think is mad when good things happen. Okay, so I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying, like, it's important to think about those things when you are moving into professional arenas, about who's like, oh, I'm so happy that this happened for you, and not just the people who are like, oh, you're having a bad day. Like, that's not always just friendship. Friendship is two-sided too.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah, just pay attention to how people react to certain things.
Yeah.
Because if you're like happy about something or whatever, and especially with like exams and like testing and stuff like that. Like, I mean, sometimes I have friends who perform significantly better than me, and just because I didn't hit that mark, it doesn't mean that I should look at them like, ugh, I'm not gonna tell you anything because you already got it all figured out. It's like being like, you know what, like you got this one, and you know, and it's all good. So yeah, I agree.
Dang, yeah. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah,
it's real. It's very real.
But it's also fun, I think, meeting people from other med schools. I don't think that I've been able to do that as much. Just because timing and life and those things. But I'm definitely realizing the importance to see how they do things at other schools, and also universal problems.
Yeah, universal issues.
That I thought was just like a my school problem, and it's not just like a my school problem. So that's kind of a problem.
And I think that's cool too, like meeting people from different medical schools, because like when you go on to medicine, it's not going to be the people that you
right, exactly.
It's going to be like a whole conglomerate of like a whole bunch of different individuals, and it's cool to like make professional friends. I'm happy I came here this weekend and met these two. Like, you know, like
shout out.
So like definitely expand your network and like find, just because like somebody's not in your immediate circle doesn't mean that they can't be a good network. Like one of my really good friends goes to another school in another region, but we met one summer at a summer program. Maxime, shout out to you. And we're like really close friends, and like we talk about like things like in our different schools and stuff, and it's like cool to like have like other people to bounce off of.
Right. So also, I think our shouting out of friends shows you that it's a community, and none of us have gotten where we are by ourselves. I've leaned on so many people that it's ridiculous, and I have so many people that have contributed to where I've been able to get in life that it's ridiculous. And I can honestly say I have not accomplished anything on my own, and I probably never will. So don't be afraid to ask for help, because like, I couldn't do anything by myself, and I depend on people all the time.
Yeah, I agree. And don't be afraid about depending on those people. Like we talked about yesterday, like it's okay to be a pest. Not really like a professional
that's
pest,
one thing
but to be consistent. Like, you know, just because like, you know, that person isn't reaching back to you doesn't mean that they don't want to, you know, help you. It just means that you need to, you know, probably remind them.
And again, and again.
Yeah, we were talking, so just to give some context, from yesterday, we went to like a panel about it's like, well, someone asked a question about mentoring, and so like, I think with being where we are at like second year, third year medical students, and like trying to reach out to mentors, trying to understand that whole process, sometimes you get a little uncomfortable with like emailing someone like constantly, like you like, because they're so busy. So like what they basically told us was you have to be a pest, because at times like from the mentors point of view, they're just really busy and they actually really need the reminders. So I mean, that's just a tip that we learned, like that's something we learned, like be a pest, because sometimes like don't take it personal if they don't reply back to you. Like if you're reaching out to a doctor, if you're reaching out to a mentor, and you know, but like they're not getting back to you, just constantly remind them until they're like, oh, like maybe unless they explicitly tell you that they don't want to be your mentor. It's kind of sad, but like then that's a different story. But like if it's just that they're not answering your emails, then just be a pest. So I'm letting you guys know, just be a pest, like be okay with it. That's part of mentoring. I need to do that personally. I need to work on that, because that was one of the questions I had too. So that's just a tip. That's something we've learned from this weekend.
Also, one other thing is that, so when I left, so people have this like concept of a mentor. It's very abstract. It's hard to do. It's like there's no perfect way to do it, and it's a two-way relationship. So it's not like you can do everything in your power, but someone can still not want to be your mentor, or someone may agree to be your mentor, but you don't know how to maintain the relationship, or like, I don't know. It's a complicated thing, but I can say that what has at least happened for me is that I have a mentor, and then if I change my way that I want to move, they usually know someone else. And so it's kind of like a handing off kind of thing. And so once you get your first mentor, if they're really a good mentor, usually your next mentor comes from them. And like, it's okay to not want to do what they want. My first mentor was in bench science and experimental hematology, and then she connected me to my next mentor, which is in clinical. So it's like completely different worlds in a way. And then from that, I've met thousands of other mentors from her. And then I had a mentor in college who was really instrumental in helping me form a professional application. So like different mentors serve different purposes, but I do think that once you get a first mentor, usually it's easier to find a second. And I think like we all have several mentors. That's another thing. It's like I don't have just one mentor. I have like a list of mentors and a list of people that I count on. And so it's hard to find a mentor, so I think that's another thing. No one really like reiterate, like it's hard, and it's like, and it takes some effort to find someone who's willing to train you. But once you do, usually it's not so hard to find the next one, because they'll do the bridging for you, or they'll CC themselves on that email so that the person will be more likely to respond.
And I'll say one more thing about mentorship. As Black women, I think we have like the want that every mentor we have will be Black women that are doing exactly the thing that we want them to be doing, and that we see. And that's a beautiful thing. And that's a beautiful thing. But sometimes it's hard. It's very hard. And I feel like most of my mentors so far in my career have been white males, or like males from, you know, that of our other races and things like that. But I think what's important in mentorship is that you have someone who cares that you excel and puts you in positions or connects you in ways that allows you to do that. Like my first mentor, when I did research, like he put me in, you know, a research project where he knew I'd be getting a publication, because he knew what my goals were, and he knew that, you know, where I wanted to go. And like, you need someone who can see light years ahead of what you can see, and be like, this is what I'm going to do for you to put you in a position to help. And 100%. And like, even though that person doesn't look like me, they have my best interest, and they can help me. Because I feel like there was like this one time I did this program, and there was this Black woman who was like the director at like this medical school, Ivy League medical school, and everybody wanted to be her best friend. And she just didn't have the capacity to do that. Like, and people were like trying to like pull these strings of like getting mentorship from her, but they were like neglecting all the other people who had the free time, who can like set them up in ways that would like help them in the career, but they just didn't look like her. Like, and they didn't look like, you know, the students that they were trying to help, but it doesn't mean that they weren't trying to help them. So like, definitely do open your eyes to what mentorship looks like. You know, the person that you least expect who doesn't look like you can still have the resources and still have the vision for you to put you in a place that will like further your career.
Yeah, that's awesome. And like, and it's just the whole idea that there are not that many of us out there, so it's going to be hard to find a mentor that looks like us. So to find someone like you guys have said, that supports you through the way, as long, hey, we're trying to get to this place, right? So we got to figure out, like having a mentor that will get you to that place, and then that means you'll be like one of the first people to like of color to be in that position,
and then you can be a mentor.
Exactly.
That's the thing.
You can give back.
See one, do one, teach one. It's like, and then if we don't also become mentors, it defeats the point. And I think that's another thing that's important. Is like, you really have to think about how many people have brought you to where you are, and if you're not doing the same thing at some point in your career. I know med school's really hard, and I've like thought about doing mentorship, but it's just like, I don't even have time to like figure, I can't like get my life, eat breakfast. And so I'm like, it feels like that. But even just like exactly what Lynn said, having this like platform to just be like, hey, we're out here, this is a little bit of encouragement, this is a little bit of guidance, or just like if you go do like SNMA volunteer events where they see you, that you're there, like your presence of just being there says a lot too. But once again, like if you don't become a mentor when someone's invested in you at some point in your career, then you're defeating the point of being mentored. So it's our responsibility to, at some point, you have to start giving back. And then, as one of my mentor would say, who she's amazing, and she'd say that once you get to that point, your mentee's success is your success. And so with it's just you and you doing so many things, when you start investing in other people, you multiply that by 10. And so it's kind of like very fruitful. So just don't forget that once someone is invested in you, it's really your responsibility to invest in others.
Wow. So let me know what you guys think about that thought. and whether you guys like have mentors and how you reach out to mentors and all that. Make sure to put that in the comments below. You guys want to talk about anything else before we I don't know, head out? Oh, she wants to show you guys her
So these are really cheap on Amazon. They have these animals. I'm sorry.
It's not sponsored video.
It's not sponsored video. No logo. But I just think it's really cool, and they're really cheap, and it actually protects my phone. So when you're about that lone life, that ramen noodle and water life, I'm just kidding. When you're about that, but it ain't free, but a free dinner. I don't know. Plug. Do you have any plugs?
No, I don't. But you keep your head up.
Yeah. Y'all got this.
Gotta keep it. I don't know the words, but that's part of it.
Okay.
But anyways, this is signing off from ATL.
Yeah. Let me know if you guys have any questions. If you guys put social media handles or something.
So I am socially inept. So
all right. Maybe email or something. I don't know. No. Well, it's fine.
You can put our Instagram probably in the description.
We'll put all the information in the description. Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
See you all later. And bye. Comment, subscribe.
That's a little bit of Black Girl Magic.
You guys have some music playing. Oh wait.
Oh yes.
It's gonna be very silent in the background.
No, it's not. That's gonna be.
Before they take out my
if no
take out all the audio.
If no one's complained that we've been too loud.
Yeah, that's true. No, I mean copyright stuff.
We'll do Christmas jazz.
Christmas.
No one cares about this.
No one cares. It's only a snippet.
That's funny.
So we're just gonna
dance to Christmas.
She got her coffee.
You got a Millie Rock to the. Am I even doing it?
No.
Okay.
I can't. Well, you gotta worry about copyright issues. So we're gonna get the song.
I can't tell you.
Yeah.